The Insomniac leaks get a whole lot worse. The worst game of 2023 is officially announced, and the fans who say they've discovered the GTA 6 map. I'm Ash Dixon, and this is GINX News. Now, before we get into things, I'd like to give a quick apology because there was no video yesterday. Annoyingly, I'm a bit sick at the moment and I basically lost my voice, which was kind of needed to do the show. However, while I'm not 100%, we've only got 2 more shows left of the year, and god damn it, was I gonna be here to do them. So, let's jump into our first story, shall we? The Insomniac hack this week was already one of the biggest in gaming history, but as people begin to unpack that 1.7 terabytes of leaked data, well, things are just going from bad to worse. Not only do we know a lot more about Wolverine and some of the other IPs in the works, according to Synth Potato over on X, there's now an entire playable build of Wolverine floating around the internet. Now, is it a finished game? Obviously not, but there's still a ton here we're not meant to see. In fact, just the combat tutorial gives an interesting insight to how the game will play. As always though, no spoilers here. If you want to find out those juicy details, you know where to look. But it's not just games being revealed. There were a whole load of internal documents too, and it turns out we ain't getting any X-Men games on Xbox until 2036. That's according to a leaked agreement between Marvel, PlayStation and Insomniac Games, which means no X-Men games not developed by Insomniac can be announced by Marvel until December 31st, 2035. Insomniac, of course, are owned by Sony, so yeah, it's going to be PlayStation exclusives until then. Now you might be thinking,
but Ash, we only know of Wolverine. What other X-Men games are you talking about?
And as someone that doesn't like spoiling leaked material, all I can do is... Now, some people are going to be like, WTF PlayStation, stop with the exclusives. But let's be honest, Microsoft is doing the same thing. I mean, they literally just bought Activision. Plus, they only recently announced their own Marvel game, Blade. That's being made by Arcane Leon. And while no platforms have been announced, it's very much expected to be an Xbox exclusive. So yeah, while crossplay is being adopted more and more, it looks like the first-party exclusives are here to stay. Whether that's a good thing or not, well, you can let me know what you think down in the comments below. In a year where we've had some absolutely blinding games, there's also been some absolute shockers. Sure, there have been some good games that were just review bombed, but the actual worst games of the year have now been announced by Metacritic. And it should come as no surprise that the numero uno worst title is... The Lord of the Rings Gollum! Wow! No one saw that coming. After all, it was such a disaster that Daedalic Entertainment seized all internal development and is now only concentrating on publishing. Imagine a game being so bad that it destroyed a freaking company. Daedalic even apologized for releasing such a dud, calling it an underwhelming experience and that they deeply regret that the game didn't meet expectations. But honestly, from the very first trailer, it was pretty obvious that it was going to be a big, stinking pile of turd. Apologies from devs are nothing new. CD Projekt Red ate humble pie after Cyberpunk's release, and 343's Chris Lee did the same after Halo Infinite. But those were AAA games and they had money and manpower and, you know, they could do something about it. 7 months on, Gollum still stinks, and it quite rightly sits atop a list of other horrendous games with a score of 34. Also included in their list of damp squibs are Gargoyles Remastered, Loop 8 Summer of Gods, Gangs of Sherwood, Hellboy Web of Weird, Crime Boss, Rocky City, Testament, The Order of High Human, Quantum Error, Grey Hill Incident, and Flashback 2. Now, any of you wondering why Skull Island Rise of Kong isn't there? Well, it got a score of 23, which is significantly worse than Gollum, but the list is compiled of games that had a minimum of 7 reviews, and only 5 reviewers bothered to play Kong because it was that bad. What do you think though? Have any of the games on the list been hard done by? Have you played any games that are even worse than Gollum or Kong this year? Let us know in the comments down below. An eagle-eyed GTA 6 fan may have spotted an Easter egg in the game's trailer that was released a couple of weeks ago. And I know what you're thinking. Ash, you already went through all of them in a previous episode, and if you're not thinking that, well, go watch the episode because it was rather good. But no, this is a brand new find, courtesy of Twitter or Xer, Nick Tech. They say there is a lot of speculation that the official GTA 6 artwork has the official map within it, so I decided to take the matter into my own hands. And that's exactly what they did. They posted this video where they zoom into a poster on the wall of a building. They then do some Photoshop jiggery pokery, a bit of color correction to highlight specific tones, and then drag in a map that someone mocked up when all those leaks happened earlier in the year. And hey presto, we have ourselves two very similar images, or at least there's a resemblance, I guess. That does look like the Vice Beach on the right, but honestly, it could also just be a big old blob. The real question should be how on earth someone found this in the first place. I mean, I know GTA has some rabid fans, but this takes things to a whole new level, especially considering they uploaded some high-res AI upscaled versions alongside their video. And still, while there might be some resemblance to the map there, it could also just be a guy with a beard. That's what I see anyway. And that's the show. Thank you for bearing with me. It was a bit of a struggle. A like and subscribe would be massively appreciated. Check out Tuesday's video somewhere around here, and we'll see you tomorrow for our last show of the year. See you then.